Hello, everybody. Welcome along to Sportsbet TV with me, Paul Alster, and I wish you all a very happy Easter. I hope you have a really good time of things this holiday weekend, and I hope that wherever you are, whatever the forecast, that eventually the sun does shine. If you're new to the channel, then please press the subscribe button just below this screen, and then you'll be able to join us for all the free tips that I'm offering on this service and have been doing so for, well, going on for very nearly 4 years now. Yeah, time has flown. Last Saturday, I gave just one recommendation, but you wouldn't know it. The poor old thing was a non-runner, so we had a quiet time of things. But this Easter weekend, I've got two selections for you. One on Saturday at Musselburgh, and the other one on Sunday, on Easter Sunday at Plumpton. So I'll come to those in just a minute, but I just want to remind you that if you're interested in more selections over the holiday weekend for some very good racing in Britain, and of course over in Ireland at places like Fairyhouse, where we've got the Irish National meeting on Monday. And then do think about joining me at Out in Front, the subscription service I have at Patreon, where it's just £25 a month. And you can find out all about it by clicking on the link in the description box just below this screen. We're showing good profits overall, seasonal and annual. And we've just had a couple of horses run very well at decent each way prices on Friday, 33 to 1. And the other one recommended at 9 to 1, both placed. So that was a very nice each way double for followers Out in Front. If you'd like more of that, then check out the link just below the screen in the description box. But let's march on here at Sportsbet with my selection for Saturday. And it's a race where there's already been a very lively market, and I've been following all the changes there. They've been all over the shop. The Musselburgh 335 race it is. The mile and 6 furlong Queen's Cup handicap, a valuable event, run in heavy ground. I even took the trouble of calling the track on Friday morning to find out exactly what the going was, because there were differing going reports in the Racing Post and through the Press Association on Sporting Live. So I spoke to Jill in the office there, and she assured me that the clerk had been out with his worries on, and that it was heavy ground as of Friday, but the ground may dry out just a touch for Saturday, but it's going to be very testing whatever happens. So a £100,000 staying handicap. This has attracted a good field. Guaranteed stamina is really important, I think, on the heavy ground. At the time of this recording, the early favourite is Cheltenham, who was a close second to Pridwen over a mile and 3/4 on the all-weather last time out. And that particular form line was given a big boost by Pridwen winning a valuable race at Newcastle on this afternoon, Good Friday. But whether or not Cheltenham will be quite as effective at this trip in the forecast heavy ground remain to be seen. He certainly does handle soft ground, but as I'm sure plenty of you know, soft ground is one thing, but heavy ground is quite another. Now, on his day, Andrew Balding's Berkshire Rocco has been a really useful stayer, as he showed when even last season he was at 5th in the Ebor handicap. He's won over this trip on soft ground in listed company in the past. The question is whether he's ready for this after 6.5 months off. And we'll have to see, although I have to say Andrew Balding's horses have been running well, and he did have a double on Good Friday. The locally trained Scottish pair of Faylac for Jim Goldie and Ravenscraig Castle for Ian Jardine have both had a run this term, so they should be pretty straight, and they both shaped with promise in their respective races. They're both going to be pretty big prices. Of the pair, I think the grey horse, Ravenscraig Castle, is slightly preferred, but both of them don't have a great strike rate in recent seasons, not easy to win with, so maybe a place is the best either of them can hope for. Now, trainer James Owen is making a bit of a name for himself, and his horses are running very well. He's got a horse called Sweet Fantasy for the Gretlys, and this one was a really improved horse last season as a 4-year-old, and it recorded back-to-back wins on soft ground over 1.5 miles mid-season. Also won on her last 2 starts over hurdles this winter, including at Catterick earlier this month. So Sweet Fantasy is going to be fit, and I think she's got pretty strong claims if she sees out the extra 2 furlongs in a strongly run race on the heavy ground on Saturday. And then you've got Charlie Johnston's Struth, who's won first time out both previous seasons. And it handles soft ground, so the lack of a run shouldn't be a negative. Tries has run well at this trip under faster conditions last season and could be a big player, especially if there's a bit of a market move for it. But my selection here is one that's already attracted money, I'm sorry to say, because I was hoping for a nice, juicy double figure price. Despite having to shoulder top weight of 9 stone 12, I'm very hopeful that the really trusting ground will bring out the best in Metier, who's trained by Harry Fry and is the mount of Danny Tudhope. Now, this one was only just beaten in this race last year when the ground was less testing than ideal. And those of you that follow racing regularly will be very familiar with Metier, a horse who was a Grade 1 winner over hurdles on heavy ground in his time. And indeed, last season in the Chester Cup, Metier was given one of the best rides of the year. It was Safi Osborne who was on board, coming from a long way back to mow down its old rival Emin, who's going to be in the race again on Saturday, to win the Chester Cup with an absolutely perfectly timed run. Now, the thing about Metier, to my mind, is that he doesn't appear to have been enjoying hurdling very much anymore. Hasn't run particularly well over hurdles this season, even when it's had testing conditions. But I feel that back on the flat, this ground is going to really suit him. Now, originally 11 to 1, it was down to 9 to 1 earlier on this afternoon. But I'm just going to check now because the prices have been going all the time. There seems to be a bit of a word out, darn it, for Metier, who's now down to, 8 to 1 is the best price I can see each way. That's for 4 places. And I doubt that's going to last very much longer. So there's definitely a move on for Metier. And to be honest, I suppose it is good. They obviously feel the horse is right and got a terrific jockey on board in Danny Tudhope, who's as strong as anybody, I think, in the finish. So Metier is my choice, 8 to 1 now each way in the Musselburgh 335. And then my final selection, for which there's no prices, certainly last time I looked, and I'm going to check again. And this is going to be at Racing on Sunday. Oh, we've got a few early prices in, so that gives us a bit of a guide. That's good. I'm not far off the mark as it happens. Plumpton, Sunday, 4:15, the 2-mile handicap hurdle, rather grandly named the Sussex Champion Hurdle. The forecast is for good to soft ground, maybe a few soft places, and 14 runners. And I'm happy to say there has been an early price has gone up from old Billy Hill. So that rather solidifies quite a bit of what I'm going to tell you. What I wrote earlier in the day was that Gary Moore's Teddy Blue won this race 12 months ago for a mark of 128. And he's only £3 higher this time as he tries to retain his crown. Now, the horse had been in the doldrums for most of the season, running in good races, but not really making any impression until last time out at Ascot, he ran really quite well. So it looks like he's coming to himself. Bold show on the cards, I think, for Teddy Blue, and I've seen they've gone in early at 11 to 2, second favourite. Now, the 2022 race is also in the field. Auchen Risk, trained by Chris Gordon. He's 11 to 1 early on the tissue prices. He's back for more, £4 higher than when he defied weight 2 years ago, but that was on good ground. Now, this horse generally is best on top of the ground, so it's questionable whether he'll be quite as effective. And if there's any more rain, I think that's going to pretty much scupper his chances. Now, Rare Middleton was a horse that I noted as one that was interesting, and I'm not the only one, it seems, because Hills have made him their early favourite at 9 to 2. Pretty unexposed horse for Paul Nicholls. Took a step forward last time when winning at Doncaster with a bit to spare. It's only a 5-year-old and runs in the famous colours of Diana Waitley. The likes of Minora were amongst the best horses that she has had. She's had loads of great horses, of course. And this one's gone up £6, so it should still go well because it's still at the right end of the handicap, and they've spotted it. It's 9 to 2. Now, another one that was successful last time out is the Susie Smith trained horse Tapley. It won at Fakenham and has gone up £5 for that. I'm not a big fan of Fakenham form, but Plumpton's a fairly sharp track as well, also left-handed, so maybe if it's going to translate anywhere, it might translate to Plumpton, but this is a tougher task. Now, Dan Skelton's, of course, the handicap king, really. He's got Knickerbocker Glory, who's a useful handicapper on his day, and he was 5th when he was last seen in the Imperial Cup. He goes on any ground with some juice in it, so any rain will be a big plus for him. Well, ground conditions won't be against the likes of Gin Coco for Harry Fry. And the recent Kempton winner on the all-weather, the flat winner, Too Friendly, another one for the up-and-coming James Owen. I'm just looking where's Too Friendly. 18 to 1 on the early prices. That seems a bit big. But anyway, 18 to 1 he is. So I take you to my selection. And this is a really tough handicap, but a tough horse in this race. And I think some each-way value is a horse called Mr. Freedom, trained by Sheena West and ridden by Mark Goldstein, a local jockey and trainer. A horse who really wears his heart on his sleeve, rarely runs a bad race. That was very much the case last time out at the Cheltenham Festival in the county hurdle, where he ran on heavy ground, which doesn't really suit him. But despite that, he was still boxing on and trying his heart out going down towards the last. In the end, he got tired over 2 miles 1 in the uphill finish in the heavy ground and faded. But that certainly was a performance that just showed how tough this horse is. He's won 5 of his 18 hurdle races. He's placed in a further 7 starts over hurdles. And he was a previous winner here on his penultimate start over course and distance. He likes soft ground. Good to soft is even better for him. So if the ground does dry out a touch, it'll be even better. Now, in my notes, I forecast that we'd be able to find some 12 to 1 each way for the 4 places. And as it happens, William Hill have gone in at 11 to 1 early betting. So I'm sure there's going to be some 12 to 1 available. And Mr. Freedom is the one I like on Sunday. So that's the one for you on Sunday. Remember, the one on Saturday is Metier and Musselburgh in the 3:35. And of course, if you're looking for more comprehensive coverage and more horses to take an interest in, do check out the link in the description box to my Out in Front subscription service, where of course there's no tie-in. You don't have to commit yourself to any period. But I'm confident that if you join us, you'll probably want to stay for a while because we tend to do pretty well. So that's it for this Friday. Enjoy your Easter, and I hope you have plenty of fun. Whatever you do, I'll be back same time next week.